A4 homework, increasing and decreasing. We're going to use parentheses only, and we're going to focus on the domain, which is basically the x values. So we're going to want to see where does the function increase and where does it decrease. We're going to write the intervals and inequality notation. All right, so looking at number 1, I identify where is it increasing and where is it decreasing. So if I imagine myself standing and walking on the function, right, anywhere there's a downhill, this is going to be decreasing. Anywhere it's downhill, anywhere I'm going down. Where you're going uphill, this is considered to be increasing, right? Uphill is increasing. So decreasing, going down, and then increasing, going up. And this is going from left to right, right? We interpret the graphs from left to right, starting on the left and walking right. Down is decrease, up is increase. Long story short. So let's start with increasing, right? So increasing, this is going to be, I always start with interval notation. You can start with whatever you want to start with, but I find it better, the way my mind processes this, is to look at the interval notation first. And we always use parentheses. So in terms of x, this is going from 0 to infinity for increasing, right? Because the x value is 0 right here. And then to the green arrow, or the arrow implies it's going towards infinity, right? This is increasing. Decreasing is coming from negative infinity. So decreasing is from negative infinity up to 0, right? It's downhill on that portion, on that section. Negative infinity to 0, and then 0 to infinity is the increasing. All right, so that's the intervals. For the inequality, you turn the intervals into inequalities, right? So this interval is saying I want every number that's larger than 0. So typically you write x first, and then whatever x value. And it's 0 to infinity. So we want all the x values larger than 0. Right? That's what this is saying. You might have to listen to that a couple times. For decreasing, it's the same idea. We're comparing x to the number. I typically write x first, and we want all the numbers smaller than 0, right? All the numbers to the left of 0. And this is x is less than 0, right? X is any number. Any number. All right. Number 2. Again, quick little analysis for increasing and decreasing. I'm not going to draw the little person. You can if you want to. But so here's a decreasing. This is downhill from left to right. Here's another downhill portion. Here's an increasing portion. And here's an increasing portion. So there's 2 of each. So we'll start with increasing first. So this is increasing. Where does the uphill journey begin? Right, uphill starts here. That's at negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4, and it's always parentheses no matter what. And it increases uphill to 0. But there's 2, right? So we're going to need to union this with another interval. And the next interval, the uphill journey starts at 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive 4 and goes to, looks like 6. There's no arrow, there's no dot, no nothing. So it's just implied that it stops here at 6. So from negative 4 to 0, union 4 to 6. as an inequality, x has to be in between these numbers, right? So -4 less than x less than 0, right? If you pick a number that's between -4 and 0, and it could be random, so say like -1.5. Well, if you go to where -1.5 is, and you go to the graph, right? Here's -1.5. It's guaranteed to be on the section of the graph that's increasing. And then x is between +4 and +6. So these are the two inequalities for increasing. Decreasing is going to be, so we're coming from the left, right? From the left is -infinity. -infinity down to the x value of -4. And then union, because there's another piece, it's going to, the downhill is going to start at 0, x equals 0, and go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, +4. So -infinity to -4, union 0 to 4. Okay, for inequality, here's where we say x is less than -4. Now, even though we're coming from -infinity, there is no need to write this, right? That's unnecessary, because it's implied that if x is smaller than -4, if x is to the left of -4, it's all the numbers, right? All the way to infinity. It doesn't stop. Unlike here, where we're saying, okay, to the left of 0, but to the right of -4, right? In the middle, in between -4 and 0, there's no left limit, right? This is saying everything that's less than -4. It's implied. And between 0 and +4. So you pick any number that's on either one of these, less than -4 or in between 0 and +4, you're going to be on a downhill section of the graph. And there it is. Okay. I'll probably do a little bit less explanation. Moving forward, we'll see. Okay, so number 3. We identify from left to right, so uphill, coming from the left. Oops. So it's uphill to the top, and then it switches, and then it's downhill. The graph on the right, this is downhill till it gets to the bottom of the hill, and then increases from there towards infinity. So, I use the words uphill and downhill because I feel like it makes more sense. But, technically it's increasing, decreasing. It increases to the max, decreases to the min. But, I feel like understanding is more important at this moment. Being able to understand it. Okay, so the increasing parts, the green parts, we're going to be from the left, from -infinity up to, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Union. The other green part looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towards infinity. Now we just turn this into an inequality, right? X 4.5. We're saying -infinity up to 4.5, so everything less than 4.5. And then everything bigger than 5, right? X is greater than 5. Now, some people might want to do it like this, where you say, okay, 5 and is going towards X. Well, these two are exactly the same idea, right? They're saying the exact same thing. It's pointing towards, right? Like the way it's taught is that it eats towards the bigger figure. So it's going towards X because X is larger than 5. And that makes sense because we're saying to infinity, from 5 to infinity, and towards infinity are all the numbers that are larger than 5. There's no number to the right of 5 that is smaller than 5. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. Decreasing. This is going to be the red portions. So, looks like 4.5 up to -2. Union. Looks like +2. Right, this is +2, 3, 4, maybe 5. Call it 5. Looks like 5. Okay. Inequality. Again, x is in between these figures. Oh, wait a second. This should be negative 4.5. So negative 4.5 less than x less than 2. And then 2 less than x less than 5. Okay. Number 4. Again, I'm going to identify the downhills and the uphills. So coming from the left, all of this is decreasing. At 0, it changes over to increasing. All right, now we just write this as an interval. So starting with increasing, the interval is going to start at 0, right? Because we always talk in terms of x. 0 up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From 0 to 7. And it's always parentheses no matter what. The inequality for this, x needs to be between 0 and 7. For decreasing, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -6, comma 0. And the inequality is between -6 and 0. So -6 less than x less than 0. So these are the two decreasing and increasing sections. All right, second page. All right, I'm identifying the uphills and downhills. So increasing from the left, then it changes to decreasing, and then the separate graph on the right is strictly increasing only. All right, so writing this as an interval, we have two pieces that are increasing. -6 up to, looks like 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 3.5. -3.5. Union, the other green piece. Okay, so remember we always talk in terms of x. So this is going to be from 1 to infinity. Right, from 1 to infinity. And inequality, x is going to be in between -6 and -3.5. Also, x is going to be larger than 1. Right, x is greater than 1. For decreasing, there's only one interval of decreasing, and it's in red. It looks like -3.5 up to -1. And for the inequality, x is in between these two numbers. X is, or -3.5 is less than x, which is less than 1. -1. Okay. 6. Oh, this is a fun one. Oh, this is easy. There's only one increasing interval. It's increasing everywhere from left to right. There's never a downhill moment. It's all uphill the entire way. If you go from left to right, which we're supposed to. Okay, so this is going to look like 1, 2, 3. So -4 towards infinity. So for the inequality, we're saying all the numbers that are larger than -4, right? Because it's going towards infinity. Decreasing, none, right? There's no decreasing whatsoever. There isn't one. Not a one. Okay. Number 7. All right, so there's a couple here. So if I go from left to right, increasing uphill, we're coming from the left. So this is uphill, then into a downhill section, and then another increasing uphill part. Okay, so increasing first, there's 2 sections. It's increasing on the interval of negative infinity, because we're coming from the left, up to 4. Union, -4. Union. All right, then we're starting at 1, 2, 3. Looks like 3 up to infinity. Right, you can call this -4. Okay. Inequality. So x has to be to the left of -4, so everything less than -4. Or anything larger than 3. X is larger than 3. You don't need a parentheses. I don't know why I did that. X is larger than 3. All right. It's late. Okay, for decreasing, we want the red part. So -4 and up to the x value of 3. Or from -4 to 3, this is the downhill section. So inequality, x is in between -4 and 3. You can kind of see a pattern here as you start to write these out. We're almost done. All right, number 8. So if I go from left to right, working my way left, or correction, starting on the left and working my way to the right, this is uphill. And it switches at the top to downhill. And then for the second part, it's also downhill. And then it switches back to uphill. Okay. Increasing. The interval that it's increasing is the green one. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -6. -6. It increases up to -3. And then the second part looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it's right in the middle, 4.5. Union, 4.5, up to 5, 6, 7, 8. Up to 8. For the x value of 8. Okay. As inequality, x is in between -6 and -3. And x is in between 4.5 and 8. All right, for decreasing, the red portions, this is going to be, looks like -3 down to, okay, so here, right, this section right here, it may look kind of funny because there's a gap, but in terms of x, right, like look, in terms of, so at -3, -2, -1, 0, okay, right at +1, it starts to feel kind of funny because there's like a lot of things happening, right? Like it's busy, but the closed circle kind of overrides the open circle. It would kind of fit into place like a puzzle piece, actually. So where the one graph on the left stops, the lower graph on the right immediately, as far as the domain is concerned, picks up. Because you could put these pieces together because they share the same X line. And this would go up to, still decreases all the way to 4.5. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4.5. So all this right here is all downhill. So 4.5. 4.5. Yeah, that's a weird one. Like it seems like there would be two pieces because of the break. But again, if you were to put them together, like crush them down and like match them up, they're on the same X line. And the closed circle would fit into the open circle basically. So the inequality here, X is going to be in between -3 and 4.5. All right. The last one, number 9. Okay. Treat it like every other problem. Just start identifying the pieces. So here's an uphill. It stops. So in this example, it starts to flatten out. Now the flat constant, right? If on flat lands, this is not uphill and it's not downhill. It's just constant, like it's flat. So that's, this section right here is not uphill or downhill, not increasing or decreasing. And then you have decreasing here. So to be clear, we have increasing, we have decreasing, and then here we can just say this is neither, right? It's neither increasing nor decreasing when it's horizontal like that. Okay, so we put it on the side. All right, so increasing, this is going to be on the interval of, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. X is -6 up to 0. So as an inequality, this is going to be X in between -6 and 0. And then for decreasing, the red part, it's decreasing from, looks like 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 to 6. And again, as an inequality, X is going to be in between 3 and 6. And we don't mention the yellow one because it's neither increasing nor decreasing. All right, is this it? Okay, hopefully this helps someone out. See you guys in the next video. Peace.